In society today, we are being attacked constantly with inauthentic conversations. Fakeness, trying to look cool, trying to be somebody we're not. That is why the Damn Dude podcast is here to have the authentic conversations that need to be had in a way that will make you think and say, Damn Dude.
What up, everybody? What is good? Welcome to the Damn Dude podcast.
Damn Dude.
Damn, dude.
This is a show where we have the conversations that need to be had in a way that'll make you think and say, Damn, dude.
Damn Dude.
Damn, dude.
This show exists to help educate, entertain, and make an impact on the different contexts and perspectives that we have in life, because I truly believe and have discovered that the more access we have to different contexts and perspectives, the easier, smoother, cooler, and just flat out doper life is. Yeah, dig. Welcome to the show, you guys. I'm your host, California Cal, and this is season 6, episode 2.
Damn Dude.
Getting things moving here. My breathing feels and sounds loud on the microphone. I hope it's not like that for you guys too. I'm like, so we're gonna talk about quite a few things here. Excuse me. One of these, I guess first off, let me start off by saying it feels good to finally be getting my freaking life back on track. A big thing of that has been work, has been unreliable cars breaking down, and things just being in a whirlwind, and having me and my lady having to like drop each other off at work, having to make sure we rush down, pick the other up while one has to wait, and and it's been pretty fucking hard, to be honest. But dude, it is what it is. We worked through that. We got 2 working vehicles now, and damn, it feels good, man. Business, I got that cracking off again. I'm gonna go into a little bit more about that with Freedom to Swim. And first thing though that I really want to get into is adult tantrums.
Damn Dude.
Adult tantrums have to be one of the most unattractive and unpleasant things in this world. Now, we're allowed to be upset. We're allowed to have issue. We're allowed to all of those things, right? But the thing is like having a full-blown tantrum as an adult where you're cussing people out, you're yelling at people, you're throwing accusations everywhere, like you're just being a menace. That shit's not cool, man. Like it's like, yo, you gotta check yourself, dude. Like you can't be out here acting like this. And over the course of the last several months, I've witnessed and had to like stand next to or be in the vicinity of adult tantrums. And it's been fascinating because I'm like, dude, I'm not going to choose offense to any of these things. Like any adult can have whatever fucking tantrum they want, but dude, not around me and my people. You're not going to do that. Like you got to check yourself. You got to reset yourself. And this is why doing the work is important, because that's exactly what it means to do the work, is to grow such a relationship with ourselves that we no longer have to have fucking tantrums, blow-ups, freakouts, extreme anger, aggression, all of those sorts of things, because what does that do for any of us? It doesn't serve any of us. It makes the person doing it look like a fool. It's embarrassing. The cleanup is just absolutely crappy. And half the time, people won't even go to clean it up. They'll just carry on and keep moving on with life as if like nothing happened. And when you're the one who's not having the tantrum and you see the person just carry on with life, it's like, dude, did you forget that you did that? Like, you know, like what the fuck? But that's where we have to, again, it's like a big thing that I talk about is personal responsibility. If I can take personal responsibility for myself, I don't have to be attached to whoever's tantrum and whoever's upset. I don't have to be attached to an apology. I don't have to be attached to the other person owning it and cleaning it up. It's like, okay, there's a certain level of like, I don't trust you to these capacities anymore. And there's a certain level of, I'm going to keep you out an arm's length because, and, well, was that incomplete? Did that sound incomplete? Because, and I'm just saying, well, because, because you did that, you know? And for me, I do my best to not let anybody diminish or dwindle my trust. More so, I allow when people do seemingly untrustworthy things, I use that to tune where I can and can't trust an individual with. Because if I put out distrust, then I am of distrust. So therefore, I'm not going to let your unhealed shit fuck with my trust in myself and my intuition and what I'm able to see and observe and the work that I've done for myself to not yell back at somebody or to not step in and start yelling at that person for them or to have to step up and fight or like any of these sorts of things. You know what I mean? So when people have adult tantrums, there's a certain space we can hold as the individual with self-awareness and self-accountability and taking extreme ownership of how we feel. Because in the instances of people throwing tantrums and just being upset or raging or whatever, I don't have to get hooked into that. I can stay calm. I can stay cool. Not like, oh, I'm better than you or like I'm above this. Well, maybe a little I'm above this actually. But more so it's like, look, we're all human beings. And if I take extreme responsibility and ownership of my existence here, like even if I did nothing to start a fight or anything like that, like I haven't been in these things with myself on it or like personally. It's more so like things I'm observing on outer layers. And I'm like, damn, that person really didn't do anything to warrant this person going off and name calling and doing all this other shit. And that's fine because I can understand that the person who does go off often feels like the other person didn't respond in a way that they expected or wanted them to respond. So they go off about it. They're offended. They choose offense. Now, the same way, if somebody who chose offense and gets pissed and is all riled up and just going off, if they chose that, we can equally either choose to choose offense and blow up, or we can choose peace with ourselves and keep moving on, keep moving forwards. You know what I'm saying? Because, dude, reacting to somebody reacting is meeting them at that level. And if our goal is personal responsibility and personal ownership, then let's freaking own through and hold a higher standard and hold a higher level to meet at. And it's like, if you've diminished or altered, more so I should say, if you've altered the level of trust that we have with each other, then you're allowed to meet me back at this level of communication, of kindness, of talking. But I'm not meeting you down there.
Damn, dude.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, dude, we can meet at this level and that can build trust again. But if you're going to keep going down and just fucking pile driving our conversations and kindness and accountability and all that, then forget it, dude. Like, we're just not going to do that. That is the arm length. And whoever's freaking out like that can stay over there like that. And it's like, all right, well, sometimes you have to love people from a distance. And I think that that's what that really means. And that's just one layer. And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, to where love is like an onion. And I know that might sound funny, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But just keep in mind that keeping somebody at an arm length, keeping somebody, loving them from a distance is one layer of this onion. So, excuse me, that leads me to my next thing, which is ego. That's going to be the other big topic here. We're going to have these 3 topics be the main points of today's podcast, which is adult tantrums, ego, and love is like an onion. So if you hear me bouncing around, it's going to be between those 3 distinctions, and I'm piecing it all together. And if you guys are familiar with the show and you guys are longtime fans of the show, you know that I Tarantino this bitch, meaning I collect all the different pieces and I show a whole bunch of different scenes, and then I tie them all together at the end. So, ego. Where do I want to start with this? Well, let's start with ego in relation to adult tantrums. I observe that a lot of times when we talk about ego, people think of it as like being egotistical. Oh yeah, I'm the fucking shit. I'm the best. I'm blah blah blah. Look at this. Blah, 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 blah. Like bravado, like outward. But the thing is, where I think in the conversation of ego, a lot of things that kind of get skipped over is the fact that ego exists sort of in an opposite version of that too, where ego can exist in I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, everybody's out to get me, everyone's trying to fuck with my shit, every time I start doing good, somebody wipes it away, some circumstance happens, oh, why does God hate me, why does life hate me, I don't like me, blah, 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 blah. That's a version of ego too. And I believe that like, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, like, I'm not smart enough. That was my big thing, was like, I'm not smart enough. That was always my like lower end version of ego rather than hyping myself up. And once I let go of the story of I'm not smart enough, I start being able to speak on smarter things. And I start allowing my perspective and what I observe to serve me rather than not serve me. Because if I spend all my time and my ego and the lower end of my ego observing how I'm not good enough, how I'm not smart enough, how I'm not capable, blah, 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 that's being very observant just towards the wrong things and in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a big part of why adult tantrums happen, is because it's that like reverse, that lower end of the ego, the self-deprivating kind at work. Now, how does that ego get developed? Well, I believe it's through unhealed or unprocessed or unlooked at stories that we tell ourselves that come from pain or lack or guilt or shame from our childhood. Because it's like oftentimes it's just one, it's usually like a handful of things that happen, if even a handful of things when we were kids, that start shaping and forming our whole lower end ego identity. So for me, like where I came up with I'm not smart enough was, the first thing really was when I was in second grade, and this is, so keep in mind a little backstory to this if you're not familiar. In first grade, my little sister, my grandma, and my great aunt all died within the same month. And so that spun me out. It was like I stopped talking for a whole year. So going to second grade is when the I'm not smart enough happened. In that first grade, at my sister's funeral, I decided, hey, my childhood is over. Second grade, our school book, our workbook was like this book that had all the different subjects in one book. And the teacher said, okay, turn to page, I don't know, whatever, turn to page 32 and read this one. Calvin, go. So I opened my book, I turned to the page, and I start reading a math problem, but the subject is English that we're supposed to be reading. So instead of being like, oh, Johnny went to, or I don't know, Little Red Riding Hood went to her grandmother's house. Instead of that, I said 3 + 7 =, and the whole class started laughing at me. And the teacher said something like, yo, what, are you not listening? Are you not? Or she said something like, I don't even remember exactly what she said. And that's what's even kind of funnier about it. But how I took it was, are you not smart enough? Are you fucking stupid? Like, that's how I took it. That's how it felt. That was my interpretation. So no matter what she said, it was how she said it, like the feeling that it gave me. and the combination of the classroom laughing at me. So what's funny is, like, I still know a lot of people from second grade to this day, and I'm 40 years old, right? Like, that's kind of the power of, like, small town, Mecca town, Mira Mesa type stuff, as well as the power of Facebook, Instagram, social media. Like, I can almost guarantee not one person even remembers this event from my class, but I remember it. And it shaped me to be like, I'm not fucking smart enough. I don't know, I'm dumb. So every single year that I would go through school, I would get terrible grades, like terrible, all the way up until I graduated. And that was just me proving that story over and over and over and over and over again. Now, I got my own whole rant I can go on about the schooling system and how it's low-key slavery, brainwashing, all of this. I can go into the whole thing. I've thought about that a lot, how you literally have to ask permission to go pee all the way until you're like 17, 18 years old. But, you know, and it's crazy. Like, anyways, that's a whole nother subject. So regardless of how school went, I kept proving that to myself over and over and over and over, that I was dumb, that I was stupid. And my creativity and my jokes, they would be so deep because, like, I would just spend my time thinking to myself. I already spent a whole year being quiet, not talking to anybody. So I let that just keep proving itself over and over and over. So sorry, that I heard something outside. So when I would go and tell jokes, they would be so deep and, like, with so much depth and thought, and there would be like several layers to my jokes when I was younger. I would say it and nobody else would get it. There's another version of I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm not smart enough. My homework would show that. My focus would show that. I was always thinking about other shit other than what the fuck I'm supposed to be looking at and focusing on. So therefore, that just kept reinforcing I was stupid and I was dumb. And then on top of that, every year of school, the teacher's having a meeting with my parents, recommending that I take Ritalin, and they put me on whatever drugs at the time and all of that. And, like, thank you to my parents. Like, thank God that they never were down with that. They're always like, nah. This would, like, confuse my parents too, because they would be like, dude, you get things. Like, you know how to do things. You have spatial awareness. You have great observational skills. You know how to, like, anything you pick up, you know how to ride it, whether it be like driving, riding a motorcycle, using a clutch on a motorcycle. Like, I learned all these things as a really young kid. I learned how to drive stick when I was 11 in a car. I learned how to use a clutch and all that by the time I was like, what, eight maybe? So, like, I knew a lot of these things. I knew how to do things and operate things and fix things. I could fix bikes like a motherfucker, dude. Like, when I was a kid, other kids used to pay me or trade me things to fix their bikes, to tighten their chain, to change their inner tubes, to adjust their brakes, shit like that. So it's like, I did have things where I was smart. My parents fortunately saw that. They just didn't know how to contextualize it, because it's like where I was smart existed completely differently than everybody else that we had access to. And keep in mind, this is before the internet. This is like early 90s and shit like that. So that's where I developed that version of my ego, and I just kept proving to myself that. And my dad used to always tell me, like, dude, you have to give up the story that you're dumb and unlucky. That was my other thing. I'm unlucky. He's like, well, you know what? You're just going to keep being unlucky. He used to always tell me that, like, dude, you know what? I used to be unlucky too, but now I'm lucky as fuck. I'm one of the luckiest people in the world. And I'd be like, why? Like, nothing happened or whatever. He's like, no, because I'm lucky. I'm like, damn. So, like, that's the power of that mindset, right? And when we develop that negative end, that lower end of our ego, it turns into a whole bunch of weird shit that's based off of one fucking event. Me turning to the wrong page equaled year after year after year after year after year after year after year. Like, literally like 2 decades worth of I'm dumb based off of one incident. And I just kept adding and adding and adding it up. And I just kept proving to myself over and over that I am dumb. I didn't know I was doing that, but that's exactly what the fuck I was doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's crazy. So on the other end of this, during an ayahuasca ceremony out in the Amazon, a whole thing came to me about ego. And you hear a lot of people talk about ego death. Now, I think that's a very loaded and misinterpreted statement, or I think it's said the wrong way. Now, the reason I say this is because for me, in a way, I had a huge ego death. Meaning it's just like, fuck my ego. I don't need any of this shit, dude. Like, I'm not that badass and I'm not that fucking stupid either. And it's like, I just am. I exist. I am God's child. And then it kind of stops there. And it's like, well, hold on a minute. One of the highest versions of serving God is to honor your body and take care of your spirit, yourself, your soul, and create a life where you can help people. So I'm going to oversimplify this, then I'm going to go back and kind of unwind to where I actually got to with this, which is when I, quote, killed my ego. That had me completely stop caring about money. That had me completely stop caring about business. Now, I still went and made money and still did business, but so fucking minimally. Then COVID happened, lockdowns happened, all that shit happened, and it all fucking collapsed. And then from there, I had no resources. Then let's rewind back the last 5 years. I've had damn near no resources. And that was because in many ways I killed my ego. And I'm like, fuck, dude. There was just parts of me that just, I could not fucking care. Yes, I got kids to feed. Yes, I got bills to pay. Yes, I got all these things. And I would do just enough to make those things happen. Because I'm not going to not take care of my kids and I'm not going to not help my people and all of that. But it was just at such a low capacity and this like almost being at peace with it sort of vibe, which is completely fucked and backwards. You know what I'm saying? So when I look back during that, I will add this little piece though. This is the piece that I kind of left out of that and why I say ego death is like pitched the wrong way because of the outcome I just explained. It's that your ego doesn't need to die. It's more so that it needs to be reduced and structured and understood. So during ayahuasca ceremony, it wouldn't let me kill my whole ego. It made me keep a piece of it. And I know this might sound weird or whatever, but like that, it is what it is, man. That's what happened. That was my experience. And it made me keep a piece of my ego. And I was like, why? Like, fuck this. Because you can talk to ayahuasca when you're sitting for ceremony, or at least I can or have been able to. And I'll ask her questions, and I'll interact with her, and she'll answer you with different visions, sometimes words. But in my experience, ayahuasca answers you exactly in the way that communicates it to you the deepest. So sometimes I would ask things and it would show me like a picture or a movie sequence or like images that would explain something. Or sometimes it would be words, or sometimes it would be sounds, or sometimes it would be a feeling. So for me, I had like a vision of me like my ego was Velcroed all like with industrial Velcro all around the inside of my head. And I just started ripping all of it out. Now, granted, in real life, what I started doing was like puking up black shit because it was like I was removing that shit, dude. And I got to this last like 17% of this Velcro, which is funny on that number. And it wouldn't let me rip it out. And I was just getting pissed. And I'm like, why? And then it started showing me like everything where I brought like humor to people or helping people or love for people or things that I've expressed and it did something for somebody and it bettered humanity. It put a drop in that bucket. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't understand. And basically what she told me was that your ego, when tuned correctly, is your ego is your art. Your ego is your creativity. Your ego is the things that you package and give out to the world. Your ego is what makes you be able to stand amongst other men and women and own your place, own your spot, own your position. It allows you to claim that. And that being the healthy version of our ego and how we're supposed to use it and what we're supposed to tune it for. Not supposed to use the ego to be better than the next guy in the circle. Not to use the ego to be less than the next guy in the circle, but to use the ego to say, this is my motherfucking spot in this circle.
Damn, dude.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when we use our ego for that, then it's a good thing because we can create business, we can create music, we can create art, we can create whatever. We can create our teachings, our sharing, our gift from a non-egotistical place. And I believe that that is really the secret sauce to the whole thing, is to use our ego to create and say, hey, this is dope. I'm dope. Check this out. You know what I'm saying? So, and to be able to do that in a way where it's like, look, this is for the people. So my example of this in real life is, you know what? I'm one of the best teachers of teaching babies and teaching kids how to swim in the whole fucking world and in the history of the world. I am one of the best. Now I say that, and I know that can sound egotistical, but I don't mean that, and I'm not coming from an egotistical place. The reason I can say that, and I'm confident in that, is because my results speak for themselves. It speaks for itself. I've been able to help thousands of kids. My lessons just equal real results really, really quickly. You know what I'm saying? So like, when I do that, it's when I'm able to be the best for my people, I'm not being egotistical. I do it for my people. When I go to teach a lesson, I'm not doing it so I can be the best. I am doing it so the child can be their best, so that family can have the most peace of mind with their child around the water that they can have. So that's why I'm the best. Not to go out and be like, oh, look at me, I'm the best, look how good I am. I used to be like that in ways. Now I'm like, you know what, fuck that. I don't care if you know that I'm the best or not. I don't have to go and like advertise that or tell people that. It's more so like once my results speak for themselves, the other people will go tell others that. And that's what allows me to stand on that, is because the type of people that I've had tell me this allows me to have that. And the circles I'm allowed to stand in with my place dictate that for me. So if you guys catch what I'm saying, like the difference is like we can serve in a way that's egotistical and it serves our ego, or we can use our ego to serve the people.
Damn, dude.
You get what I'm saying? So that's where I'm like, okay, dude, let's just help as many people as possible, because otherwise, what? You know what I mean? Like, dude, let's just serve the people. Let's serve the people. And that's where it's like, when we become of service, we no longer have to have adult tantrums. We are able to stand in love and not fear. You know what I'm saying? So, one second, guys. Got my favorite drink on deck. The cola kombucha, made of like mushrooms. So bomb. So the next thing I want to talk about is love. Some say love's like an onion. All right, what the heck am I talking about, you guys? Well, again, this was one of the deepest and most profound things that I learned from Madre Ayahuasca, is that love is like an onion. Meaning, in the middle of that onion is pure love, is connection to source, is the godliness inside of you and I. The middle of that onion represents the heart, the soul, the purity from the middle of the onion. It's allowed to sprout and grow and take in nutrients and nourishment and minerals and vitamins and soil, and use that to grow, not take in soil, but to pull those things and to grow through the soil, to create new life, to create things that are even better. Because what's better than one onion is two onions. Let's say you don't like onions. Pretend you do for this example, okay? So, okay, if the center of that onion is pure love and source and light and connection to God, what are all the other layers? Well, let's make this. My brain just went like 7 different directions right now. So hold on a second. Let's start with the outer layer. Well, hold on a second. Let me explain all the layers, then we'll start with the outer layer. So all the layers of the onion, you've got skin, and the flesh of the onion, the juicy part, the part you actually want to eat, not the part that's all stringy and hard and gooey or however, right? Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. And so each layer of skin, onion, skin, onion, skin, onion, it's all the layers, right? What I've learned is that each layer of skin is fear. It's that hard part to penetrate. It's the harder part to cut. It's the hard part to swallow. It's the hard part to chew. And you don't want that in your plate of food. You just want the good parts of the onion, the edible parts, the flesh, the juicy part. Now, if you look at this onion, we've got skin, onion, skin, onion, skin, onion. Skin representing fear, onion representing love, the flesh. So, if we break this down, how do we get to inner peace? How do we get to be the center of the onion? Because if we're all onions, then we all have a center. But a lot of us, or most of us, are on all different layers of our onion. Now, the people who are complete Karens and freaking out and yelling at people and just out of control, and people who are just fucking assholes, they are the ones who are protecting the onion. They're that most outer layer, the part that you can peel off with your hands before you even start cutting the onion. That's as far as they've got because they're scared something happened to them. So now they protect. They got this layer on everywhere. And a lot of times those people won't penetrate through that layer of the onion. So then what happens is the people who do are people who are a bit kinder because they pierce through that level, or they didn't have something as like brutal happen to them. So they keep that protection, right? So then you got people who are the next layer, which is the part where you cut that onion and you still need to peel that layer off because that's not quite edible. It's like half skin, half onion. And you got people who only work that far into their layers of onion. Then you got people on the next layer in. They've removed some of the skin. They're at the fleshy part. These are people who go and help. They're good people, etc. Then you got people who've gone more layers, because I don't know how many layers there are to an onion. I think they're all different, but there's a lot of layers to an onion. So when we go out and we see people who are teachers, people who work at the church, people who are all these different layers of people in our community, you could see the people who don't live with a certain level of fear. And that's because they're deeper in that onion than the next guy who's terrified. So if you look at it, it's like, what's on the other side of fear? Freaking every time. Like every time you go to do something that you love, there's going to be some level of fear involved in it. It's not just like, boom, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, anytime I go to teach a lesson or I start a new kid or anything like that, I get terrified, I get shaken. But what happens is I go do it and then I break through that layer. And it's like, I'll be standing, I can meditate, I can whatever. I could be standing in my place of the center of my onion, And then as soon as I start driving from here to my lesson, or I'm waiting for somebody to show up, my layers start growing again. And then I'm like, hold on a minute, come back to the center of this onion. So I have to cut through all the fear, love, to get to just that pure love of it. And if you're going to be a musician, if you're going to be a whatever, right? You're going to go out and do your thing. There's going to be a level of being scared, like, until you push through and it turns fun. So for one, like, shout out to my boy Yamamoto. I've seen him at the beginning of his music career to where I saw his first performance, maybe first or second performance ever. And he's just like, damn, you know, like, this is crazy. Like, and now he's just hosting performances and events and concerts and all this. And it's like, dude, in order to go from that to that, there's a lot of layers of fear to push through. Like, I'll let him speak for himself, right? But like, in terms of my interpretation, that's how I see that. So when you're able to face your fear and push through that shit, dude, there is miraculous beauty on the other side of it. There's something that you love. You know what I mean? When I go surfing and the waves are up, I get fucking terrified, dude. And the feeling in me is like, fuck this, dude. Let's go do something else. But you know what? I'm here. I fucking suited up. I waxed my board. I put my leash on. I'm fucking ready, dude. I drove all the way here. And gas in a Land Cruiser is not fucking cheap. So you know what? I'm fucking going, dude. Fuck this shit. Let's go. Right? And then what's on the other side of that? Something I love. I catch the wave of my life. I catch the wave of the year. I catch whatever, right? That's what's on the other side of pushing through that fear. And it's like, to the point of pulling up to the beach, there's one layer of the onion. I get scared. Oh shit, I see the waves. The next, or there's no waves, and that makes me scared too. Because like, fuck, I don't want to just sit out here. And then there's the next layer. Okay, put your suit on. Okay, put your top on, whatever. Okay, take your shoes off. Okay, pull your board out. These are all layers of this onion. Okay, and each one gets me closer to actually getting in the fucking water. You know what I'm saying? So like, when I'm able to do that, when we're able to do that, we get to doing what we love. Think of like a job interview. Going to an interview is scary. That shit's terrifying, dude. It's fearful. And it's like, okay, you can go and listen to the fear and not do the interview, or you can own and push through that fear and bang that interview out. Kill that shit. Get that job. Get hired. You know what I mean? So just like anything new that you start, it's going to be scary. There's going to be hard parts. And that's just a layer of that skin on that onion. But remember what's on the other side of that onion skin, dude. Remember, if you don't like onions, pretend you fucking like some onions. Is exactly the juicy part, the part you want to eat. That's the good shit. We love this. Excuse me. We love this part. I'm not sitting here trying to chew on the fucking outside. Give me the best part of that shit. Give me the part that's connected to the most nutrients and the healthiest, sweetest, juiciest part. Right? Now you can replace this with any other fruit or vegetable for this analogy, but onion works best because it's got the layers how it does. So with consideration to what you love, consider that there's going to be fear in front of it. So for me, getting Freedom to Swim cracking off, formerly Fin to Swim, if you're wondering if I hadn't updated you guys on that, Fin to Swim is now Freedom to Swim. It's really just a clearer name for the mission. And as I go to hand out flyers, I have a million reasons why I don't want to. The QR code on my flyer doesn't work. I printed my flyer in the wrong fucking size, which these are all true. My logo's jumbled. The words don't even read on the bottom of it, which is also true. I have a million reasons to not go do this. So that's the first layer. That's the outer part. Then I'm like, you know what? What daycares are around? Boom, let's go to these daycares. Let's go ring the doorbell. Let's go hand these flyers to people. Let's get this shit cracking, you know? And it's like, once you've cut through enough layers, you've peeled the layers, you then get to eat. And it's like, I'm trying to eat, dude. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you're not going to be able to do what it takes to eat, then you don't get to eat. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to do what it takes, then you get to eat. But not everybody's going to do what it takes. And this is why most people are fucking struggling, because they would rather just be comfortable on that most outer side of their onion saying, look, I got protection. I'm covered. I got this skin around me protecting the whole thing. All my layers are covered and protected. So let's just yell at other people and let's just do blah, 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 right? And rather than actually like digging in and diving deep, people just want to stay at the surface. And for me, staying at the surface level isn't good enough. It's just not good enough. It's so worth pushing through whatever feelings and fear and nervousness and excitement that you have. And this is the other part that's fascinating, and I've said this a lot in previous shows, is that fear and nervousness and anxiety are the exact same chemical reaction in our body as excitement.
Damn, dude.
For real, you can go look that up. Fear and nervousness is the exact same chemical reaction in our body as excitement. The only difference is what our brain is calling it. So if you go around calling your excitement fear and anxiety, well, guess what kind of life you're going to live? Right? So it's like, let's not call our excitement fear and anxiety. Let's call it excitement. Let's call it I'm looking forward to. Because otherwise, what the hell else are you going to do, man? You know what I mean? It's like, it's ridiculous. And the thing is, it's like, it's so simple that it's ridiculous. We really don't have to stay stuck because we're so scared. There's nothing to be scared of except the next layer and the next layer and the next layer. And some people consciously are like, I don't want to go deep. I don't want to go deep within myself. It's too scary for me. Okay, I respect your honesty, but if you're willing to be that honest with yourself, why not just go to the next layer? Why not just go to the next level? Because it's only going to be more things that you love. You know, and the more that I dig into my onion, the richer and juicier and doper my life is, the more I get to eat. You know what I mean? And eating being more time, I get to help more families. I get to spend more time with my kids. I get to take them on better trips and buy them nicer things and eat healthier and better food, more nutrient-dense foods. And that's what it gets us. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's go in on that onion, dude, because why the fuck not? You're gonna have to live life anyways. And if you're gonna live life here, you might as well make the best of it and push through all those different layers. And when we push those layers, we don't have to have the tantrums. We don't have to inflate our ego as a means to avoid the tantrum. We don't have to depreciate our ego or our self-worth in order to avoid the tantrums, avoid the hard parts, avoid the good, juicy, sweet parts, avoid getting to, like, a lot of, in another metaphor for this is like a lot of people avoid a lot of people avoid preparing and cooking the meal, and that's why they don't eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can see where in many ways with my quote ego death, I was like scared to fucking cut vegetables basically. You know, like, that's crazy. Excuse me. So I encourage everybody, like, dude, take a look at your ego. Take a look at why you've ever thrown a tantrum. Take a look at how you act when somebody else throws a tantrum. And from there, it's like, all right, let's look at what we can actually do in real life, in real time, to get to the next layer of our onion and basically be the sprout that's able to start growing more onions. You know what I mean?
Damn, dude.
So I feel like this has been a pretty valuable episode. Oh, shit. What is this? Sorry, my card is being weird on my soundboard. Anyway, I encourage everybody to take a look at that. And it's like, let's create a cooler and doper life for ourselves. Because why the fuck not, dude? Why the fuck not? Let's do it, you guys. Like, life is short. Shit is crazy. And one last thing I'm going to add to this is, look at all the crazy shit in the world right now. You've got the Epstein files. You've got fucking Bill and Hillary Clinton being absolute fucking maniacs in their testimonies. You got all these celebrity shit being like coming to light. You've got all this insane, really, truly weird shit happening. And it's like, we might as well be ourselves to the fullest degree, because no matter what, we're not the ones doing the weird shit. No matter as weird as you can be, you and I, us regular, normal, good people, we're not out here doing weird shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if that's the case, now's the time to just be yourself more than fucking ever, dude. Say what you gotta say, do what you gotta do, because there's some truly weird motherfuckers out here, and that should just encourage us to just be ourselves and stand in love and not be afraid to be ourselves to the highest and fullest degree. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Whoa, that was loud. Sorry. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Be here for days. Surf by the 38. Sun, touch your face. Not the beach, not the hill. The last one's means to. And it's gonna be me and you.
Damn, dude.
You guys, please be sure to tell a friend 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 to tell their best friends, cousins, uncles, pigs, farming, knuckle fucking, dugging, ditch digging, picture pigging, best friend's uncle about the Damn Dude podcast, because you know they need this shit. But really, share with somebody who you feel really could benefit from this and really help the next layer and level of community and society and people, because that's what this is all about. So again, I'm your host, California Cal. Go follow us at Love All Cal on Instagram, or just type in California Cal, or I should say, and also go follow us at Freedom 2 Swim on Instagram, because that's where all the shit's cracking off right now. And yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Hope you guys have a beautiful day. Much love. Peace.
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude.